Hi, my name is Bradley Benton, and I'm doing my project comparing different styles of Japanese theater. I apologize in advance for any mispronunciation of names in my video. The two most important types of classical theater in Japan are No and Kabuki. In my research project, I'm comparing the similarities between these two styles of theater, and I'm also exploring how they're different. No theater began to be performed in the late 14th century. Toyoichiro Nogami and Chico Mullern state in their article, The Monodramatic Principle of the No Theater, that, in short, it is an aesthetic economy exacting the maximum effect from the minimum of action. This representational technique suited the monodramatic principle of the No Theater perfectly. Nogami says that No theater is a monodramatic form of theater because No lacks a conflict of personality, representing two or more points of view, and that the shite and the waki are never set against each other, even though they may appear to be antagonists at first sight. No dramas are classified into 5 types: Kami-mono, which praise the gods; Shura-mono, which were plays about warriors; Kazura-mono, plays about women; Zatsu, which were miscellaneous plays; and Kiri-mono, plays about demons or other supernatural beings. Brockett states in his book, History of the Theater, 10th edition, that No was performed mainly for aristocratic entertainments. Kabuki theater had much more humble and admittedly more erotic beginnings. Kabuki can be traced back to the early 1600s when most of their performers were women. These shows were even associated with prostitution, and therefore, in 1629, local authorities forbade women from appearing on stage due to the seductive nature of the performances. This resulted in young adolescent men taking the mantle, then promptly also being shut down in 1652 for being just as seductive as the women-led kabuki. We were finally given a permanent form of kabuki theater when men became the main performer base. Even then, Brockett states, men were required to shave their foreheads and to avoid any emphasis upon physical charms. Kamachi Mitsuru states in her article East Meets West, Japanese Theater in the Time of Shakespeare, that the capital of Japan was moved from Kyoto to Edo, now called Tokyo, in 1603. This was the commencement of the Edo era, an unrivaled period of peace lasting more than 2.5 centuries. This sudden change in society produced many discontented kabuki-mono who could only give vent to their youthful energy by dressing themselves in a strange, exotic fashion and behaving in a rebellious manner. The word kabuki comes from the verb kabuku, which means to slant, to be oblique, or to deviate from the normal path. Etymologically, therefore, kabuki can be called a theater of deviation, or a Baroque theater, in the original sense of the word, Baroque signifying a distorted pearl. This idea of kabuki as a Baroque theater was first presented by Kawatake Toshio in 1961, and has recently become popular among scholars, resulting in a conference under the same title in 2002. Samuel L. Leader states in his journal, The Kanemaru-za, Japanese oldest kabuki theater, that because theaters were flimsy fire traps, indeed the pre-modern Japanese theater had been estimated at about 10 years of lifespan. When Kanemaru-za was built after receiving permission from the shrine and temple officials serving the area's powerful Takamatsu clan, a local carpenter built the Kanemaru-za as a replication of one of the 3 major Osaka theaters, the Onishi Sabai. It made many improvements upon the architecture of kabuki theaters around the nation. Today, No theater still holds a respected position in Japanese drama. However, due to its age, it's now harder to follow along with. In Theodore W. Halton's journal, A Visit to the Japanese No Drama Theater, he states, "The old classic repertoire, consisting of nearly 250 plays, were all written in archaic Japanese, and today only a few spectators can understand the language fully. To overcome this difficulty, many of the audience bring librettos to follow the plays. To further aid the modern spectator, a girl seated on a table at the front of the auditorium posts large sheets of explanation on an easel, changing them frequently as the play progresses." Halton also compares the audiences of No and Kabuki theater when he says, "The Kabuki audience had been mixed, people of all ages, family groups, some in traditional dress, but mostly men and women in Western dress." On the other hand, the No drama audience was made up almost exclusively of elderly people attired in the traditional Japanese costume. Their attitude was one of subdued interest and reverential mind, in contrast to the Kabuki audience, which was enthusiastic and boisterous. If we look at the audiences who attend No and Kabuki theater, we can see at a glance what the performances in modern day are like as well. Works of No theater focused on Japanese tradition and refined atmosphere. Brockett states that No also places great demand on its audience, for it is not easy to comprehend fully or to enter the realm it embodies. Kabuki theater, on the other hand, was made for more lower-class audiences and therefore is easier to understand. While both No and Kabuki theater have strong and devoted audiences in Japan, Brockett says that Kabuki is the most popular of Japanese theatrical forms, and its future now seems assured since the National Theater was opened in 1966. Thank you for your time.